Now let's do this. Yep. Let's get this podcast started. Let's see where he's at. Yo. Get him close of this. I'll make sure no distractions. Yo, you saw the request? There should be like a request like telling you to hop on. Let me do this. I'm gonna try it again. Just send you another request, eh? Hopefully it should work the same. Oh,
Hey
what you
man.
saying?
Hey, I'm cool. I'm cool.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's good to be on the live. This is my first live ever.
Yo, for real?
Yes, I don't really do much interviews. This is me.
Nice. So you see how everything going?
Yes. So I'm happy to be on.
Nice.
Um, let's start the show, sir.
Yeah, so tell everybody like who you are and what do you do?
All right. Everyone, my name is Phillip. I'm a visual artist. So that comprises of the fields of photography, videography, 3D design, and architecture. So I've been in these fields for about roughly 11 years. I've been in the media industry for over a decade. It's a good bit of experience. I still could learn a little bit more, but I've had some influence in the industry, currently, especially in Trinidad and Tobago. Um, I've done quite a bit in terms of helping with the broadcast standard of the media. I've done some work for a lot of, you can say, music videos, TV stations, etc. So I have quite a bit of experience for my age.
Nice, that's really good. What started this passion of you getting into media and all this stuff?
Um, Years ago, well, I've always been creative since I was small. So I always love to draw, design things, etc. Actually wanted to go in the field of engineering, but I decided that I would try something different.
Hmm.
So I guess from since 2008, I started to get into the field of photography and 3D design. And then you can see from like 2009, 2010, that's when my career really started into this. So I've self-taught. I actually have a few certifications in my fields. So I have certification in finance and photography, diploma in Photoshop, all the Adobe products, Cinema 4D, which is like a 3D design software. And I've been working with some of the best in the country. So shout out to Michael Richards from Fast Track Media. If you don't know who they are the guys who do deal with the I Am Santana videos you see on YouTube and stuff.
Oh, right,
Leroy,
really?
yeah, I've been doing. He's like one of my mentors.
Wow,
So
that's awesome.
shout out to Aaron Richards. He's one of the best videographers in the country. He has done work with Marsh Montano, Bungie Garlin, the big time guys. Like these guys, he when it comes to video stuff, he's like some of the best you can get.
Wow, that is
Yeah.
truly amazing. Like I didn't even like know all these stuff like until now, despite knowing you for all these years. If you guys didn't even know, this guy right here is responsible for like probably the majority of my visuals. Like he did my logos, he did a couple of photographies for me, like the one in the white. Um
Yeah, that was a good one.
yeah, that was really good. And he was also like designing for me like before I was Cammy-Kun, before I was Luffy Sky. And I remember he did like a couple pieces for me before. And I
Hmm.
was like, wow, this guy is really, really cool. And how how was it like developing your passion?
Um, I had no limits to what I wanted to learn. I have always been the one to just try out something new, but at the same time creating my own kind of personal style to things. So I I love creating. I love designing new things. I love looking at passion. So I go to all the sites you could think of. Divine Art is one of them. It's a really good site for you to get passion. Behance is another. And I have a lot of connections with some of the big guys from Hollywood. Shout out to a guy called Saul. He worked on one of the movies called Elysium. He's one of like
Nice.
the concept artists in making like some of the designs and everything. He's really, really good. Guys with motion capture, 3D design, and things like that. And over the years, these guys have given me like insights into what I can do and motivated me to just go as far as possible, without, being tied with formal education. Now, I say education is important because you have to learn, but you don't need formal education as a requirement to get into these fields. I would say just go at it, improve as much as possible, ask for critiques, learn about where your strengths are, your weaknesses, and adapt to suit. And eventually, you're just going to reach a position, be like, oh my God, I got to somewhere I thought I could never reach. And even then, you don't stop. You keep going at a different level till you just surpass it. You set the standard in that sense. Now, I have a family with a lot of talent. My uncles, aunts, even my mother, they're incredible artists. Like some of the work my mom does is like extraordinary and very unique, even in a world with 7 billion plus people. So my uncle, Larry Leadock, he's one of the best known guitarists and guitarist players in the Caribbean region. He plays a lot for jazz and stuff, and he has a lot of musical experience. My brother, he's known as the Caribbean DJ, DJ Kai. Shout out to him. He
Shanghai.
has, yes, DJ Kai. So he has a lot of experience with what you call mashup empires and stuff like that. And he plays some of the best mashup music you could ever think of, especially for the Caribbean. His name is All Over. So if you haven't heard from him, I don't know what you're doing with your life.
Yeah.
And my sister, she's now getting, into mainstream music. She's another artist.
Oh yeah, I remember.
She's Yes, Island is her name on YouTube. Look out for her new single that is already out on Julian Promotions. You can't miss it. She's raking up the scene. So it's basically an entire family full of creative artists, lots of talent, lots of experience in these fields, and we do it because we have a passion. We love what we do, and nothing stops us. And I think that's what a lot of people forget. Um, you have to just be really, really good in terms of your willingness to get things done and be passionate about it. Don't let anyone take you down because there's always going to be obstacles where someone will try to hinder your progress and you will feel down at times, but I just say forget it. Enjoy yourself. Be the best who you can be.
Wow. That is a really amazing story because as I thought about it, right? Like,
Mhm.
I remember, like, before we met, I remember I knew your brother. He went by a different name before. I believe it was DJ Righteous. And then, like, after I was like, wait now, what is siblings? How I didn't know this? And as I keep thinking about my life, I came from like a family of different creatives as well. But the difference is like we all didn't really live in the same roof. I only had like one uncle who lived in the same roof, but he was a bass player for a parang band. So
Mhm.
the question I want to ask is now how do you think of like actually living in a family with different creatives like helped you like become more aware of what you want to do and how what is the impact it of?
I believe because of my family, I was able to pursue the things that I really want without the limitations. Because certain families, I guess, they about the money aspect. They want the, for you to be a lawyer or a doctor, and general things that can make the family proud. But there's a place for those things. However, it doesn't give the child to, the person in question to see what they really want to do and pursue it in the best way possible.
Well,
So I'm grateful for having my family able to pursue the stuff that I want to do and live it in the best way possible and make a living out of it. And I always try to encourage people to never let obstacles get in your way. There will always be some difficulties ahead, and they will always be even down to your family. Sometimes they could be a bit, distracting and discouraging,
hmm,
but even then, you just shake it off, pick back up where you need to go, and just I guess I'm really lucky just to have my family to pursue the things you have, and also friends. When you have good friends in your inner circle who appreciate your work, who appreciate your passion, then the sky is the limit. And even then, the sky is not even enough. You need to go to the stars
beyond.
and really, yeah, 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 of course, and really elevate yourself to a position where you just love what you do. You're getting paid for it because, everybody needs to pay the bills.
Exactly.
And set the standard and showing the future people in our field of work that you don't have to worry about opinions. You don't have to worry about, the challenges that life already gives us. Once you have good people encouraging you, then you can just do whatever you wish as long as you're doing it with a good heart. So that has always been my thing. My motto has always been define yourself without compromise. And what I mean by that is don't let anything stop you. It could slow you down a little bit, maybe to kind of check back and change direction with your vision. However, always keep at your goals. Always look at it in the most practical way in your vision. Don't do things blindly. So I would coming back to your question, I would just say I love that my family has encouraged me to pursue my passion in the most practical way.
Wow.
Not just in like a not in a Disney-like kind of scenario, but in things like you gotta set certain things here, and so I'm grateful. Yeah.
Nice. It's crazy because even though I probably tell the story before, it's like the same situation with me when it comes to music where before when I was living in Trinidad, right? I was
Mhm.
like in school for like computer engineering, I believe. And I
Mhm.
was like slowly losing my passion for like doing computers, mostly because of like I didn't just enjoy the process for the school, where it was like the whole school was like against me in a way, where it's like this, I had to worry about the students, I had to worry about the teachers, and the principal had to get in the mix. And I remember like telling my mom, like I was crying, and I told my mom like I'm ready to leave this school and quit, and she was like, "Yo, just finish it, and you'll never have to do it again." And then like when I moved to New York now, and I was like conflicted because I was like, yo, I have to like go back to doing computers. And mom was like, no, you're not doing computers again. You're going straight to music because that's what you love doing. And I was like, wait, what? And she like invested in these schools and all this stuff, and here it is. And having a good support system is like something where a lot of people like don't really have. And I feel like if more parents like learn to like figure out what the child wants instead of what you want for the child, because sometimes what you want for the child is not really what the child wants in the first place. And once you get figured out, you can direct the child to what the child really wants to do. And even if that is not what the child wants to do, they could always change their mind. You know?
Yeah, I would say for that is I find a lot of people tend to push children into a direction that they're not sure about. So for me, I am doing my degree in civil engineering because that's a field I want to get into. And I'm doing it late now, getting into my 30s, because it's something I actually want to passionately do. And I need to show, certification that I can actually build a house or something and not let it crumble or whatever. Right? But is a lot of people just rush into university and stuff without thinking about if this is what they want to do. And I realize that can be a problem because you're not sure about yourself. People need to, people need to have discipline, yes, in order for you to, find where you need in life, but at the same time, there's a balance of things. And that's what a lot of people lack. People lack the drive and the will to see where they want to go because you have your whole life ahead of you. You want to know that when you do something, you want to stick with this or diversify into other things. You're not living in a world now where you have to just stay with one job, whether 8 to 4, 9 to 5, or doing two jobs. You have a world now where you could pursue things online, and a lot of stuff now are for free. So if you pursue that, then you have the whole world in your hands. You could do basically anything you want. And it is just really up to you as to what you want to do. You could have so many credentials now. You have no more excuses. So I see a
Exactly.
lot of people so I see a lot of people sometimes complain about university, the exorbitant prices, and I understand where they're getting from. But now you're living in a place where that's not really required anymore. So I would say look for what you're good at, invest in that idea a little bit, because now you could pursue something and there's much of a consequence to that passion. Because you could always be like, if you don't like it so much, you could go up online, look at the next course or next degree, whatever, and pay next to nothing. And now you have like two certifications. You could go to any job and, really flesh out your capabilities. So that that I believe is what, especially for this year with the pandemic, where most people are home, um, that will give people a lot of time to, explore what they can do.
Wow. And that is a really interesting topic because like first off, like I want to thank you because a couple years ago, you might not remember this, right? But you was the one who like introduced me to like Coursera. So during them times, I was like using Coursera to like pick different courses for free, so I could like learn different skills and do all that stuff. Now I'm doing that more than ever by using more like Udemy now to like increase my skill sets and certain skills I want to learn. Now I'm doing Facebook ads and Google ads because I realized I wasn't doing them properly, even though I find I was doing them alright. So I wanted to like figure out like exactly what I am doing so I could like learn how to do it properly. And speaking of COVID, right? How did COVID like affect like your workflow when it comes to media production?
um, it affected me a lot. And I'm not going to lie, it really took its toll. And then I had some unfortunate events with lost a family and loved ones this year. So
Yeah,
that took a mental toll on me.
I remember that.
However, um, you have to always look at the bright side, be optimistic. See, okay, you're at a low part. Now you know exactly what you need to do to get back at the top. You can't always stay down, otherwise life is just gonna go ahead. So I have just learned to just take life for what it is, take my beatings and just, move on. Because life ain't gonna be perfect. Life is always gonna have challenges. You're going to be at times depressed, tired, you don't want to do anything. However, it is imperative that we learn to just get over certain things, learn from them, say, you know what, this took me down for a while. I'm going to get over it. I'm going to improve. I'm going to be way better than what I am now, even better than when I was at my peak at that certain time. You want to always evolve to the point where you be like, look how far I've come. Uh, you reach a certain level that is just unparalleled. So that has always been my thing to always go, even if it's just a little bit, just step by step until I reach the position I want to be and even surpassing it.
Nice. That is like the same direction I basically going.
Mhm.
But during the pandemic, right? Like I kind of finessed it in a way. Where basically what happened is right, when the pandemic first like when there was like hints of a pandemic happening and I was paying
Mhm.
attention to like independent media and stuff and it was like, yo, in case this go bad, start preparing. So aside buying like 2 years worth of food, like we could just pull away, even if it didn't like even if anything didn't happen, you could like at least have food there in case. So
Mhm.
it finally hit, right? And in New York, so it hit real bad on New York. Like New York got it really, really bad. And it was to the point where I worked part time, right? And
Mhm.
it came to the point where the people who was on the job, they got scared and they quit. So it was basically like me and three other guys just working full time. Like we went from part time to full time. And it was like real annoying and straining. But something else happened. Um during that time, right? Basically I also like freelance like you, but I do it with engineering. So around that time, like before I was experimenting with Facebook Market. And
Mhm.
something really strange happened like after the pandemic happened, which caused me to like finesse this whole pandemic so far. So what happened was right, since the virus happened, all the other studios closed. Now some
Mhm.
artists they decide to like buy their own equipment so they can record at home. Others are desperately looking for studios. So yeah, if I use Facebook Market,
Of course, yeah.
yeah, Facebook Market is like the new eBay and Craigslist. So around that time, like way before the pandemic happened, I already had an ad for recording studios. All of a sudden,
Mhm.
DMs after DMs, people want to come and record. So now after balance my new chef and work and like bringing people into record. And by the time like I already heard about the virus, so I already like bought like hand sanitizers, bought ingredients to make hand sanitizers. So I had a whole like system where people could come in, enter safely, sanitize yourself, and record and get out. But that's how I learned how to finance myself, especially like when the riots was happening after the George Floyd incident. Like I was terrified that I would have lost my job because a lot of people lost
I
their
remember you
jobs.
said that.
A lot of people end up losing their jobs because the riots happened and basically a lot of people's jobs got hit. My job got hit, but it didn't get hit as bad where I could have ended up unemployed, but I was still grateful for the fact that I took advantage of like what going on with these studios. So I had like a
Mhm.
revenue in case like if my job like something bad happened to my job, I could have been like okay for now. At least until I get a new job.
Mm.
Yeah.
I remember I remember you telling me that and I was like, how are you going to manage through this whole thing? And I was hoping and praying that, things would get better. That was during the peak of the riots, and I was watching everything unfold in the United States, and I'm thinking to myself, geez and ages, I'm sorry for all those people who have to suffer with losing jobs, because everything is already difficult in the world as is with this whole pandemic.
Yeah.
So I understood what you were going through. Luckily, things are a bit easier now. People could move around a bit more, but I think for next year, it's going to be a different world per se in terms of how people are going to work, how people are going to interact with each other, and just be grateful that you're still alive, you're still breathing. Because I've seen some of the cases with this coronavirus. It's not pretty. It's not
Oh,
nice at all. And even people who survive the whole period, it's very hard for them to live, and they can get back the virus even worse. So I'm hoping whoever makes a proper vaccine, not the ones that people are selling just to make a profit, and you know how the corporations do.
true.
Just leave
Unfortunately.
it. Because the whole thing is, if you don't have anyone to sell to, then how are you going to make money? So you have to keep your buyers alive. So that's the whole thing. I have learned from this pandemic that you need to keep certain family and friends very close to you. You need to, how to put this, watch your backup plans, make sure they're up to date, because sometimes you may have a backup plan and then things just slide down the drain and you don't know what's going on. So I would just say, just be careful about what plans you have ahead. And I'm a big advocate of planning ahead in case something goes wrong. When you have plan, you have discipline. When you have schedule, you know what you're going to do in a day. Because when you do things, hamper scamper, you tend to not be as disciplined or not be as productive as you want to be. So I'm always about making, good judgment on what I want to do and then executing it bit by bit, not in a big way, because once you could understand the tiny little details, then you know exactly where to grab something, adjust it to suit, and then move on. And a lot of people need to learn that. People think when they're making businesses or new ideas is about, oh, the big scheme. Yes, the big scheme is there, but it's the little details. I remember my family had a business, a food business, and a lot of people loved our food. And for a short period of time, we were getting sold out. And things started to fall short because we didn't plan certain things properly. And then to the point where we just had to cut the business down. And we could have had possibly an enterprise right now. And I realize it's really the small details. So, you live and learn, you improve, and you just make sure that you can cover your butt, avoid certain things. And then there's always the haters, the talkers. Like, to me, I find them very encouraging because I get to show them that I can prove you wrong. I can prove you wrong with all your nonsense, all your yapping, your unnecessary criticism. And I get to really flex my muscles like I told you so. Not even in a revenge way. It's like I'm still doing my thing. People will come and tell you discouraging stuff. Because I remember there was one point in time with your work, there were a lot of people who were criticizing your work and stuff, and then you hit them with a two-hit combo, and you just knocked it out of the park with some of your music. And
Yeah.
like I knew this was coming. I saw you put in the work. I saw you put in the time, and that was really it. And most people don't understand that. Most people would just want you to just be like, put on your head, I can't do this, or he's not going to make it and thing. And next thing you know, you just come out of nowhere with a new set of wings over your shoulder, and you're just like watching everyone who was putting you below the radar, and now you're above it. And the best part about it is you kept humble. That was the nice thing. You kept humble throughout the entire process. Like recently, we were just talking about one individual who was being very negative with you, and now they want to ask about you and see how you're doing and stuff. And I realize those people just
Yeah.
coming to waste your time.
Huge
So
waste.
I'm all,
Mm,
so I'm all about, making the best out of a situation and progressing, just progressing and having the best people around you. I am a firm believer of the five closest people in your inner circle. They're the ones that are going to either elevate you or degrade you.
exactly. I believe in that the exact same way.
So I always tell people, excuse my dog's barking, but I always tell everyone progress as much as possible. Always find something to do. Don't waste your time because you could always make money. Anybody can make money, but it's a time that you never get back.
True. Like
So
yeah.
mhm.
Like speaking about like the five people in your life, right? There was like a certain time where like if you remember the time where I was here in Trinidad for like a year or so, we had a conversation about in Gulf City, and we were talking about like 5 years from now, we have to be like setting up the bricks to be like where we need to be right now.
Mhm.
Why do you think? How do you think your progress is so far?
Oh, I've surpassed it. I have we surpassed it beyond what I thought. Before I was in an okay state, but now I have reached a level that I'm looking back. I was like, wow, I have progressed a lot, and I still have a long way to go. However, uh, I am proud of my accomplishments. This year, I was able to do a gargantuous task in terms of Chutney Monarch for 2020 Carnival. I was the leader for all the video weeks for all their pipelines, everything. I was like the main editor for the video weeks, the logos, designs, animations, etc. That was my task. It was monumental, but a lot of people were really impressed, and then I get to see my work on TV, and I just felt proud. I was like, look at all the work I put in, and now I could, be happy about my achievements. So I was very pleased with that, and I could put that on my resume and whatnot and show, hey, I did that. And a lot of people keep talking about it. And it's like, hey, Phil, you did a really excellent job with those logos, those designs, the motion, etc. It's like you put a lot of heart and thought into that. And to me, that is just an appreciation of okay, not only I can see what I've done, but when others can see it, that just makes it even better. That gives you more encouragement to just even go further.
And all right. And what amazing is that like the way we had that conversation is like, yo, we kind of just basically predicted our own features. We was like, yo, 5 years from now, we going to do a lot of different things. You went on to doing a lot of great things with your media. I end up doing like a whole bunch of stuff with music and freelancing and all this stuff. And it makes me like really proud to like be a part of this journey with you, even though like I'm not really in the process, but it's like how we are friends. Like I could basically like feel your energy, like well how you with the way you're progressing and doing things and handling your business in life. And that always made me like really, really proud of you.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I am a person I don't like to stick. So as soon as this interview is done, I'm gonna go back, actually do some more work
Yeah,
and
you're on the board.
really myself. No, I don't like to stick. Like if I'm not doing something, I rather just sleep. And if I'm
Same
sleeping,
here.
I'm already in my subconscious thinking about the next best idea that I can put out on the world and stuff like that. Like there was a time before my old system had crashed. You remember that story?
Yeah.
But there was a time actually developing with NVIDIA for some designing software that would have been really monumental and put me like on the international stage. But for various reasons, that didn't fly out. I plan to get back on that in the future, but it shows where I can go with certain things if you just learn to branch out. And what I've learned is that networking is one of the most important things you could do with business in terms of
Definitely.
your passion. And I am very much ongoing for just talking to people, not just to just deal with business, learn about the ideas, learn about their passion, talk with them. Maybe they could link with someone else who might put you into a next step that they may not want, but that is something for you. So it's always good to keep as much connections as possible. Elevate yourself where we need to go. And that's really the secret for all the big time Fortune 500 companies. You don't think Nvidia, Tesla, Apple does all these things. They deal with innovation and networking and passion. All those companies have those three pillars of success. And then when you have money to suit with it, then everything just becomes easier. So networking is, to me, the most important thing about business. Then you see about what your plan is in the future, execution, and things like that. Because when you have the certain basics in in production, then you're going to have something that is revolutionary. And that ties back with the week when you have these things, so you could make your passion and a business at the same time. And that just becomes extraordinary in its own way.
Wow. Like, dog, like that's whole talk just sounded like a little speechless.
Yes,
But
yes, yes. Secrets, trade secrets, but I'm letting it out for the everyone gets a slice of the pie.
I know, right? I remember first song I was working on where basically New York is basically called the Big Apple because you can get a slice. Like anybody can get a slice. And yeah, but wow, like that is really like a really interesting concept, which I also apply to myself because a lot of the things I've accomplished, it was because like I spoken to people. I didn't just like be like, hey, I'm doing this, you do this. Like, no, like you have to build relationships with people because in the end of the day, like even if you're not really building relationships with people, people are not really like just looking for someone to be like, yo, I see you doing this, let me invest in you. Like, no, you have to actually talk to people, show them that oh, you are valuable in some sort of way. They show you the same thing, and it's like it all like goes from there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And another important thing a person should always do is build confidence with themselves. I understand people are nervous when trying to do things. It happens to everyone, including myself, many, many times. You have no idea how many times I was nervous about doing some certain things. And then I just realized, I said, there's no way that I'm going to let my nervousness take the best out of me. I want this. No one understands my journey, my reason for it. I'm going to pursue the hell out of it. And I have enough motivation for me to just do my work day after day, start my day in the best way possible, just get myself vibed up and energized. And then I just tackle all the tasks ahead. And then eventually, out of that grinding, all that hard work, blood, sweat, and tears, you're going to see something that is good. It's like a seed. You put a seed into the ground, you have to cultivate it in whatever way possible, give it the right bit of soil, don't let it get overgrown with a lot of water. And then you just see this thing just growing and blossoming into something that could eventually feed many other things, not only yourself, but other prospects of your life. So that's how I would say. Just work on yourself first. Make sure you are at a level where you're so confident that nothing truly bothers you.
So,
Self-confidence is key, but there's also a balance, I would say, with ego. Because sometimes I've seen a lot of people, you have the confidence, but they tie up ego with that. There's an important thing with I guess with Hindi religion. I forgot the right phrase, something with humility. And I always remember its meaning. You could be a great person, but if you have no humility, then people are always going to think of you as a fool with money or a certain status. When people are comfortable to be around your energy, be like, oh, they are inspired like that. So it's always about how you present yourself with your goals. That is very important.
Exactly. I remember also when you were like doing your journey and stuff as like a media person, there were a lot of times where you like take a small hiatus and then you return like even better before. What was mostly the cause of the hiatuses?
Um, Creator's block.
Hmm.
There were a lot of times where I struggled to do my artwork, and I would just go back to my basics. I always found that my fundamentals were the most important thing for me to get my projects done. Like even if it was work for clients, I'll be like sometimes I'm not really feeling to do this. I'm not interested. I just tired. And then I said, you know what? Let me just take a break. Maybe I'm doing too much. Maybe I'm not motivated in the right way. So sometimes I'll spend some time with friends and family, maybe do a bit of motivation, talk with people, learn about the experiences. And then over time, I would take that information that I have gained and turn it into something creative because my artwork is basically an expression of my life. So I love to just take a break, get back into my momentum, and then just come with something with a bang. Because I think you've seen a lot of people like wondering, like Philip, your work was incredible last year, but this year you created some out of world sort of stuff, and I'm like, that's only scratching the surface because I have something incredible before the year's over that I'm working on, and people will be like, Philip, you just went from like 7 to like 25, and I'm that
Yeah.
confident to bring the year's over. So I'm working with a few people who have joined my cause and vice versa, and I cannot wait to release it. It's a project that is very close to my heart. It's in essence has been in the works for about 6 years, but now
Wow.
I'm confident enough to produce it in a short period of time because I've worked out all the kinks and I've gained knowledge to make my workflow even faster.
Nice. I really can't wait to see it. I'm afraid I know what it is, but regardless, I'm really excited about it. Um,
Mhm.
One thing I really want to go into is like the L's, like where we have where when we deal with the music, the industry in whole. During your time, like where you doing your gigs and stuff, was there any time where people like try to rip you off or try to like short pay you or any stuff like that? And how you adjusted yourself after these experiences?
Countless times. My first wedding was a ripoff. It was obviously small P, but they even decided to half that small P. So and then they ran and left. So I was just like I could not deal with anything like that. So I just moved on and I just said that everything was just too much. So hold on. Yes.
Oh, what just happened? Probably went off. Let's see. Could get it back. Yo, EB was good. Abby, what's up? You probably just crashed for a little bit. Let's see if we get back. This it was getting spicy. Oh yeah. So this is a quarantine edition of the podcast. So I might as well do this before like I get back into music and vlogging. I've been making a couple vlogs for like a minute. The only ones I've been posting are the really important ones, but I'm following like the same formula for my EP and other podcasts, like where I pre-record as much content as possible and then just start flying them out. Like it's gonna be wild. On where he's at.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yo,
I had
it's
to
okay.
fix up my phone for a second. Yeah, I had to take a call. Yeah.
Nice.
So where were we?
Oh, you're talking about the wedding situation.
Yes. So with the wedding situation, it was pretty embarrassing, and over time, I've had a lot of fallouts with many people who didn't want to pay me my worth, and I made sure I did exactly what they want and even more. I did extra for them because I'm always like the person like give them extra for the money, value, etc. But they didn't care about that cheaping out. So what I've learned over the years of experience with unfortunates is let potential clients know exactly from the ground up. This is how you function. Is it you take it or you leave it? Because you have to learn sometimes to choose who your clients are. It's not about just making a bit of certain money. There's a kind of a thin line with that, but I would just say let people know how you work, how your work ethic is, and how to function with certain people, and let them know that if they can't pay or can't work with you in a certain way, don't be mad when you can't get to work. I understand desperation can be, a challenge in certain aspects, but you have to put your foot down on certain things and say like, enough is enough, because there are people who will try to take advantage of your craft and be like, oh, you do such good work and I want to work with you and stuff like that. And then without a contract or without, some kind of formal written explanation that you could take to court, they look to exploit you at a moment's notice and there isn't much you can do except be frustrated. So avoid that. To avoid all those kind of unfortunate things, you just tell them that this is what's on the table, either take it or leave it. And if people understand that, if they really want to work, they'll be like, you know what, this ain't too bad. So it's a balancing act. And in business, you cannot be too polite. You have to be firm. Business is a dog-eat-dog world, and you have to learn when to take out the competition in some aspects. I wish it was different, but this is the reality of the situation.
Yo, that is like some wild situations because like I remember like fresh out of audio school, right? I gotten hired by this local guy from Trinidad, and you might know him. He kind of popular, but not like Marshall Montana level yet. But
Mm,
what basically happened was he basically hired me for like three different projects, and he hadn't paid me for like any of them. So when he tried to make me like work on the fourth one, I was like, no. And with all like these situations is something that happen common, right? Because I'm basically fresh in the freelance industry. So after a certain amount of time, I came to the position where I'm not really sure who to trust. So I had to adjust my whole business structure on how I work with people. So it will either be like, yo, it either be a deposit, we had to do contracts, and to carry weapons in case like they try any funny thing around me. Like if you're in person and they're like, yo, you need to give me this, and I'll be like, just in case. Like, you always gotta think about this stuff where you had to deal with people. So one of the other things I realized is what helped me in this situation as well is where like I get to talk to people and I just read them out. Sometimes it's
mm,
just like when you're interacting with people, you just know. Like, it's just a gut instinct. Like, the moment I feel fear around somebody, I just avoid them at all costs. Like, I'll be like, we're done. Like, I won't have any conversations or anything with you. And that's how I basically like operate. Sometimes, like, I realize when I ignore like my inner fear, something has always happened. So, like the situation where we spoke before about this certain person. Like I realized that this was bad for me. I was like, it because I was like, they didn't do anything wrong. They didn't do anything wrong. And then like weirdness happened, and then like it's like, yo, I should have listened. I should have listened. And this is like, I feel like it's a whole, is it a Trinidadian thing or is it a human thing where you could actually figure out like how somebody feel about you based on like how you interact with them.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's sticking on your side of it.
Yeah, I think it's good, Nope, not yet.
Yeah.
Yo.
I can see
Hmm.
Yeah, I've realized with certain people, I've worked with a particular insurance company. For obvious reasons, I'm not going to name them, but they had a really excellent plan when we were planning everything. And I'm like, yes, I am in. So I'm going to the board meeting to talk to them, and I hear some interesting things that put me in a position where I had to change the terms. And they started to argue with that and all kind of stuff. And I said, you know what? It's not worth it at all. Next thing you know, one of my associates got the job, and he told me that he regretted it in full. So that just goes to show that sometimes trusting your gut feeling is a good idea.
Definitely is.
So I like to do as much research on my potential clients as possible. Like, tell me more about yourself, what you're looking for, what do you see yourself doing with the services I am looking to provide, so that I can make it, as true to mind as possible. So whatever your concept is, I try to bring it out in the best way that I possibly can. Because my brand's name is Iox Shift, which basically the slogan is bringing ideas to reality. So that has been my motto, bringing out certain aspects of your concept into visualization, and then I have many more ideas that have to be in the hush hush. Can't let your competitors know.
Yeah.
The most part, I just want to see all my clients, all the people I've worked with, as happy as possible with my services, as well as making sure that I grow in whatever way possible. You will never stop growing, you will never stop learning. And if I keep that mindset to improve, then things will be good.
Nice. So I think it almost like an hour like since we doing this podcast. So
Mhm.
before we log out, tell everybody where they could like find you and where they should like hire you for your services and stuff.
Right. So my you can get my email, which is psexiox@gmail.com, or my website, ixshift.com. You can send me an email, a quote on what your services want, or you can find me on Facebook and Instagram as Phil Philos. Should be able to find me easily there, and just hit me up a message, see what we can do, check out my work, check out my lifestyle, and take it from there. Creating new experiences, new memories. Hopefully, they will be worthwhile.
Nice. Well, I guess that'll be the end of this for now. Hopefully, like when COVID over, we could finally link up again in Trinidad, have a little couple of beers, laugh at this whole situation, and call it a day. Right?
Yeah, I know, I know. Hopefully, we could do this again in the future. I really enjoyed this. This is my first time Instagram Live. So appreciate all the viewers that were here. Shout out to a couple of friends who were checking the live tonight. Appreciate you guys. So that's it for me. I hope that end of the year, again, with my big project, I'm just going to give it a teaser. It's called The Pike. It's a little animation project with a live CGI, some really lovely live performance work like you see from like Avatar and stuff. It's, and like I said, it's been 6 years in the works. I cannot wait to release it. It's gonna be groundbreaking, and I just can't wait. I really
Me
can't wait.
neither. Yo, I really can't wait either. Like, this is gonna be really awesome.
All right.
Shout out to everybody who was here. Sorry, I couldn't really talk that much because, like, I just didn't want to like distract myself because interviewing other people and stuff. But it's been fun. So you'll chat later. I'll probably go on live again like sometime later to make it up, and also have another podcast episode coming out next week, and it'll be awesome. Like, everybody take it easy, stay awesome, and peace.
All right, man. Cheers. Night, everyone.